Mr. Armstrong, you'd mentioned in your answer to, I think, Ms. Spears' question, that there are other RTs operating in the U.S. Can you describe them, list them?
Sure, thank you. So you have RT, you have Sputnik, you have Rupley, and then I think you have them feeding other entities. Infowars comes to mind, where those are echo chambers for those modalities.
The outgoing governor of the Broadcasting Board of Governors, who went before different Intelligence Committee hearings, this is the Armed Services Committee, and to the military funding apparatus, declared that Infowars is a Russian disinfo op. Then they come out in the news and McClatchy and say, I'm being investigated, along with the White House chief advisor. Look at the headlines from the McClatchy News Service, published in hundreds of newspapers across the United States and now on basically every TV news station out there. Breitbart and Infowars under investigation for ties to Russia. Report. That was in committee hearing meetings last week and yesterday. That's right, Stephen Bannon trying to cut middle-class taxes, rebuild our military, and defend our borders and get the VA working right, as well as kill Obamacare. Decorated Navy officer. Can't trust him, can't trust anybody, but we can trust Nancy Pelosi and Barack Obama and John Podesta and Michael Moore, can't we? And this, you see, has been built up for months. At first, they came out and said, oh, the Russians stole the election, it'd be too much. But I told you, they were going to build it and build it until they say that Breitbart's Russian, Stephen Bannon's Russian, I'm Russian, and Trump's Russian. And if Trump and his people don't counterstrike when Hillary is openly on the communist Chinese payroll, sold 30% of our uranium to Russia, got all of these tens of millions for it, and if they don't start the indictments of the open crimes they've committed, they're not going to stop. George Soros has doubled the amount of money he gave in the election cycle 2 days after the November 8th election to double racial division and civil unrest. That's their detonator for all this. And it's undisputed that cash flowed to the Clinton Foundation from the Russians, $35 million. It's undisputed. Even the precious New York Times admits that. So what's the big story here? They have had the Board of Governors of the FCC officially come out in Senate Intelligence Committee meetings on C-SPAN and say that I'm a Russian stooge that regurgitates Russian propaganda. It's the other way around. I'm Americana and want a free market system, and my ideas are getting picked up, which are just Americana ideas that we're bringing back and making great again all over the world. 15 years ago, Nigel Farage said that half the people they had joining UKIP, and the reason they were exploding was that my broadcast was the #1 internet radio show. That's how they picked it up there, according to Alexa.com, Quantcast, all of them. Was that a Russian movement? No, that was Americana. America was always sexy to the whole world until we became socialist and globalist. The world was always adopting our great ideas. I was just bringing them back. So in France, in Germany, in Sweden, in Brazil, in Japan, all over, they will tell you Alex Jones. And I'm not here about taking credit. There really wasn't anybody who was even, half young, who wasn't 80 years old, that was exposing this stuff. And I did it the 21st century way, before the 21st century. I'm huge in Russia. I've never been to Russia. I've been huge on Russian TV for 15 years, playing clips of my show. I've been huge all over the Middle East. Even though I bash radical Islam, most of the Muslims don't want to live under it. Max Kaiser goes to the Middle East live in Cairo and is being mobbed. Alex Jones, we love, is it Alex Jones? Is it Alex Jones? And I'm not bragging about Infowars, but you have to understand, we are the Infowar. We are 1776. We're Americana. We're what the image of John Wayne was supposed to be. And I love John Wayne, great patriot. The point is, we're doing it. And the globalists are the traitors. They're the outside group that has come in and taken over the country. And here we are, not just in the United States, but worldwide, saying kick the oligarchs out, kick the globalists out. Don't let the IMF, the World Bank, the World Trade Organization, the TPP, and all these deals transfer your sovereignty out of the country. Remember Lou Dobbs popularizing it massively 10 years ago? Having the #1 show on cable for 2 years, even above Bill O'Reilly, CNN's only hit show. What'd they do? They fired him. Lou Dobbs, what was that, like 7, 8 years ago? It's not about credit, it's about knowing the history. Drudge Report blew holes in globalism. Lou Dobbs blew holes in globalism. Dr. Corsi blew holes in it. WorldNet Daily did a great job. We all did this together. You did this. You exposed it at the town halls. You spoke out. And to claim it's Russian is the most ridiculous thing on earth. But they don't care. The rogue government admittedly is ignoring Trump in the State Department, in the VA, everywhere. These are the criminals that have seized control of our country and that are robbing it and that are looting it as fast as they can. And what do they do when real nationalists, real patriots come out that actually want to get control of their government again and put us back on the course that made the country great? Getting small business loans with almost 0% interest. Cutting taxes, economic development zones, promoting the family, getting the morale up of the nation, not being demoralized. That's 180 degrees from the globalist plan of Ploward and Piven and scarcity and artificial scarcity and planned obsolescence and all this deindustrialization, the post-industrial world, Agenda 21. And they play these Stonewall games with all these terms like Agenda 21 and others, but people know it's real. It's happening. So our victory is we've forced this out in the open. And you could really say that even according to their own publications, by March of 2017, globalism is dead. It's collapsing. The tide is going out on it, to quote Peter Thiel. The elites all admit it in their own publications. So they've gone from denying all this exists to saying, okay, it exists, but the Russians are the ones destroying it. So the Board of Governors testified to Congress last week, and then they had synopses with the FBI director yesterday. We're going to play some of these clips. I'm going to skip this break. Now, there's the London Guardian. It's too late for hand-wringing. Globalism's already dead. That's right. Once it's discovered to be elite, unelected, above the law, tax-exempt, diplomatically immune, totally corrupt, the new royalty, we reject Kim Jong-un. We reject Queen Elizabeth II. We reject George Soros and the new royalty at the UN. We're done. And isn't it a bellwether, an omen that the father of modern globalism, the father of modern imperial corporate colonialism, died 2 days ago, David Rockefeller, the one who praised Mao Zedong's murder factory. So let me give you the big breakdown. We've now confirmed it from their own words, all of it indexed together. Right now, you're about to get the data dump. Not just what they're saying, and not just what they're currently doing, but what the next phases are in their attack profile against our attempt to restore the republic. Ladies and gentlemen, here are the McClatchy and other headlines. Breitbart and Infowars under investigation for ties to Russia. They specifically say for working with Russian intelligence. They have gone so far at the FBI using the analysis of the Board of Governors of Broadcasting, which is the CIA. I'm going to show you in a moment. So rogue elements of the CIA are now declaring that the president's chief advisor, that the biggest independent media talk show host, Alex Jones, and others are Russian combines and actively working with the Russians, coordinating with them. Unbelievable. And, of course, zero evidence is given. But this is just amazing. Then you realize that Podesta and all of them got caught with Google, Facebook, Twitter, coordinating in the WikiLeaks how to steal the election, how to have bots, And they've got Donna Brazile in these articles going, it's horrible. We never used bots or did anything corrupt. And Infowars is with the Russians. And they have Podesta in there saying that too. Oh my gosh, you just ran all the big media and coordinated the headlines at the New York Times, Washington Post, CNN, MSNBC, everywhere else. You just put lies out about everybody. And now the meanie Russians got you. And so you're asking the board of... And people are asking, well, how are they going to shut down Infowars if Trump's in? They're intending to overthrow Trump. They've already said they are. They're already probing how to kill him right now. We are in a true hot civil war now. We're not in a cold one. We're winning the info war. They've decided they're going to declare Trump a Russian agent, and the brains of the American resistance that are so red, white, and blue, it's ridiculous. We're on fire with Americana. We are the heart of 1776, and they're completely horrified by it. And then they have the nerve. It's beyond outrage I have. The despicableness. When they're the globalists that infiltrated, they're trying to make our country poor, trying to destroy our sovereignty, they have our borders wide open with hundreds of sanctuary cities, ignoring the law, treating our veterans like total crap, looting Social Security, trying to block Trump's plan to save it. And of course, they invert reality. They're the traitors, they're the outsiders, they're the enemies, they're the globalists. So in their publications where they read it, Foreign Affairs and the Financial Times, they're like, our global government's collapsing. We've got to use cultural and racial strife to control them. They all talk in these publications that are public like you're idiots and don't read it. I do. I show you there's quotes on air. But for general consumption, it's just dumbed down, showing their disdain that Trump's a Russian. Oh, you didn't elect Trump. No. The Russians want to make America great again. Oh, and look, Alex Jones has gone on Russian TV shows. Absolutely, and promoted that they need to have a free country as well. And I go on Japanese and British and Mexican and everything else. So again, Breitbart and Infowars under investigation for ties to Russia report. FBI's Russia influence probe includes a look at far-right news sites. Then they mix in, oh, it's fake. And then they go on and they say this, we're going to look at banning it and moving. And that's in the bill that Obama signed, S-2943, in the $611 billion 2017 Defense Authorization Act and the NDAA. Remember, that's the one earlier one Obama signed where you could just disappear U.S. citizens. So they have a stay-behind shadow deep state government that's just completely ignoring the president, bullying Congress and everybody else. You better get in line because we're taking Trump out. And I said that 2 months ago in December. It's 3 months ago now. And you can now see it all crystallizing. The president just thinks he can work with people, create prosperity, and that somehow he'll convince everybody to stop doing this. These are people that had hijacked America. They have a disdain for it. They're on recording saying they're going to break our will of the bitter clingers. They're in public statements saying it. They want to mount our heads on the wall. They want to dominate us as an act of will, like Captain Ahab and Moby Dick in legend, in fiction. You understand? They don't like us because we're honorable and good. These are degenerate scumbags. Read the WikiLeaks. Read the evil. So go read the Obama quietly signs the Countering Disinformation and Propaganda Act. He signed it into law. It's still operating. And it says the CIA will confer with the Board of Governors of the FCC. The Countering Information Warfare Act, S-2692, introduced in March, passed. And it says they're going to ban fake news and move to block it in the United States and to create a whole government strategy for countering the foreign propaganda that operates through the domestic fake news. Yeah, the fake news will actually read you the bills here. Now, I'm going to play this clip of them last week talking about yours truly and mixing it in with RT and Sputnik and these other channels. By the way, half of what I see on RT is a bunch of leftist crud. Yeah. U.S. repeals propaganda ban, spreads government-made news to Americans. That's foreign policy. 3 years ago, the Washington Post admitting the CIA is going to operate domestically. They already were, but they admit they're going to lie to the public with this new strategy to ban fake news. 3 years later, they intended to get Hillary in and then have her lead the charge, but she didn't get in. They're just acting like they're going to remove Trump regardless. Here's another one. Business Insider. U.S. government-funded domestic propaganda has officially hit the airwaves. Washington Post amends Russian propaganda fake news story, admits it's fake, listing us as fake. But see, now they can't get the Washington Post to put their name on it. So now what are they doing? Now they're just going to have Congress do it and say they're going to have the FBI counter-espionage group do it, like they had during the Red Scare that was the Democrats, who a lot of them really were card-carrying communists and were giving secrets away and things, like the Rosenbergs. But this time, what great revenge. They're going after basically the sons of John Wayne, people that are doing the exact same things John Wayne did in his anti-communist speeches, and saying we're the Russian stooges. Because we're not enemies with Russia because they've pulled out of that whole system. But we've got our own country. We want nationalism. So I'm going to go over all of this, but I wanted to play you a clip because when you read who is this individual that they have on C-SPAN talking to the House Armed Services Committee and also the Intelligence Committee this week. Matthew Armstrong, Associate Fellow, Center for Strategic Communication. But that King's College, but that's not really what he is. He's a governor of the... He is a governor on the Broadcasting Board of Governors. And when you read the legislation that Obama signed into law right before he left, and you say, well, why doesn't Trump just kill this? They don't care. They don't follow his orders. They just do whatever they want and continue moving forward. And it goes on to say that the Board of Governors, in concert with the Central Intelligence Agency, will coordinate a whole government first priority program to counter the foreign propaganda disinformation and the war against us and our allies by our enemies, and goes on to list fake news or domestic news and uses the Washington Post own fake article as the roadmap. So they all just make up lies and then vomit them back onto each other and then vomit them back onto each other in a giant circular motion. So imagine this. They are now openly saying, by the way, I had family yesterday when I told them about this. I said, yeah, I've officially been listed as under investigation by the FBI for actually working with Russian intelligence. And they said, come on, that's not true. I said, no, it's real. Then I told a fellow I know who's worked in a lot of places, including the CIA, about it. And he said, that's crazy. I'm going to make some phone calls. You know, where'd that come from? I'm going to call and double check those. I said, it came out of Comey's mouth. That's how incredible this is, ladies and gentlemen. But you're saying, no one will believe it. This doesn't make sense. There's no proof. They don't care. They already killed a lot of people. They've already tried to kill Roger Stone with polonium and all the rest of it. They tried to hit and run him last week. And they keep saying they're going to call him to the Senate committee hearings, but now they're going to have hearings. They've had hearings, but he doesn't get to be there. He just gets accused. That's never before been done in American history. So I demand, if they have more hearings and talk about me, I demand that I be able to be there. And I'm going to be there with a big stack of news going, here you are admitting fake news. Here you are admitting that the Senate Intelligence Committee was targeted by the CIA with illegal spying. Here you are saying you're going to target domestic media you don't like, claim they're Russian spies, and now you're doing it months later. Why on earth is this legislation that Obama signed still in place? President Trump needs to kill it. You're not going to put me in front of that committee because my truth and my facts and my evidence will destroy these little cowards. I tell you, they just sit there. They have Alec Baldwin get up on TV and pose as Trump and say racist things and say he learned it from Alex Jones. Just like all these other movies and TV shows they've got out saying the same thing, where some character says horrible racist stuff and they say, where'd you learn that? I learned it from Alex Jones. This is the lying info war by criminals that have hijacked our government, that are at war with our republic and people desperately trying to get control of the wheel to right the ship. And you can see just a ray of sunshine into this country. The globalists want us poor and controlled. Just the idea that maybe we're open for business again $3 trillion in the stock market, massive new job hiring, wages going up, restaurants busy again, factories opening all over the place, optimism the highest it's been since 1984. So the big question is, how do we counter this? How do we respond to this? When we come back, I'm going to play the clip of Armstrong. Governor on the Broadcasting Board of Governors until last year, 2013, 2016, advising Obama. So you can bet money he had a hand in writing the bill that Obama signed in the Defense Authorization Act to have the CIA go after the independent media. And guess what they do a couple months later? By name, yours truly. Ladies and gentlemen, they mean business. They've been incrementally adding more lies every day. It'd have been absurd to say we're all Russian agents 3 months ago, right? With no proof. They just keep recycling the same lies that get disproven. No Russian connection, no hacking, no nothing. Oh my gosh. Roger Stone tried to talk to WikiLeaks. So did CNN, so did everybody else. Of course we're trying to get the leaks. I don't care where they come from. And they turned that around, all their crimes, and the fact that they lost the election, and the fact that they rigged everything, and the fact that they got caught rigging stuff with CNN and rigging the debates. And then now Donna Brazile, the disgraced Donna Brazile, interviews Brian Williams, who's back, another disgraced fake, to tell everybody about how she was the target of the Russians. And of course, Maxine Waters says she's the target. And then Maxine Waters doesn't know what planet she's on, saying Russia invaded Korea. I mean, this is crazy, but it's also hilarious. Let's go to Devin in Florida. Devin in Florida, you're on the air.
Great. Hey, thank you so much. Listen, I have bought your product, and I gotta say they're amazing. Anyone who's on the fence, buy it, because I've got Caveman, Superman Vitality, Secret 12, Vitamin Mineral Fusion. I've got the body armor.
Wow, thank you. Wow. You're the type of listener that makes it all possible. Which nutraceutical does you like best?
I really like the Vitamin Mineral Fusion, to be honest. That's
amazing.
Really incredible. I drank it in the morning, and I swear to you, I felt incredible. Like I haven't felt in weeks. My morning was fantastic, and I love you guys. I love the Infowars crew, and I just want to, I want to take this opportunity to tell anybody out there who's on the fence. Just buy it. You will love it. I'm telling you, I've never bought a bad product.
What you find in our news is the same thing you find in our products at InfoWarsLife.com. It's a win-win, InfoWarsLife.com.